Welcome to Empower Her Radio, the space for powerhouse women ready to step into their next level of abundance, purpose, and personal freedom. I'm Dr. Corey Winn, a high performance coach, doctor of physical therapy, philanthropist, and business consultant. I help ambitious women align with their highest calling, expand their wealth and impact, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're a high achieving woman who's built success yet finds yourself craving more alignment, more purpose, more ease, you're in the right place. Here, we bridge the gap between ambition and fulfillment. Through transformative conversations and proven strategies, you'll gain the courage to step into the fullest expression of you. Build a powerhouse business that aligns with your expertise and divine gifts, and lead your life, both personally and professionally, with unshakable confidence, worthiness, and compassion. This is about expansion, legacy, and owning your power unapologetically. You already have everything inside of you to create a life of unlimited possibility. It's time to unlock it. Welcome to your next level. Let's dive in. I am so excited about today's interview because I love all things interior design and don't have a clue how to do any of it. I've spent my life picking things out that I like. But today we are diving in the world of design, confidence, and creating a home, a life that truly reflects who you are. My guest, Amy Barrickman, knows what it means to take a leap of faith. She left a secure, high-paying career in pharmaceutical sales to follow her passion for interior design, starting from scratch with no capital but an unstoppable vision. Since then, she's built a thriving business, becoming an on-air design expert at QVC, and authored the #1 new release in interior design on Amazon, The Living Room Design Formula: Style Your Home Like a Pro, one room at a time. Amy's mission is simple yet powerful: to help people break down the overwhelm of design into small, joyful steps so they can fall in love with their space, by extension, themselves. Amy, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much. What a treat to be able to talk about empowering people. I think what you do is so good for the world. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's so fun to walk alongside other women who are on the same journey or are stepping out into the same path and highlight them, but also get to know their story. So let's kind of take a step back. Tell us about this courageous pivot.
Well, it's funny. It sounds courageous now in retelling it, but I would not have described it that way at the time because it felt like I didn't have a choice.
Mhm.
I had been working in pharmaceutical sales. I had a great gig there with a company car and a expense account, and making great money in my early 20s. And I just wasn't happy. I
Mhm.
really just wasn't feeling fulfilled at all. So I didn't know exactly what to do. I had loved acting and pursued that as a career and was frustrated by that journey. And I knew I wanted to do something creative. We had moved to a new home, and I realized I loved this. So I
Mhm.
went back to school, still working as a pharmaceutical sales rep. And then I decided, okay, I really want to take this, I want to take this on the road. I want to make this a thing, but how do I give up that big job when there is maybe not even a lot of money to be made ever um, in this career? So for a while, I kind of went back and forth on how to do this. And then it got to a point where I just felt that I had to. I didn't have a choice.
Mhm.
I look back, I wish I had taken that courageous leap earlier, but I waited until it was really just weighing on me and my spirit, and I did it with my husband's reluctant support. Um, and my parents' reluctant support. But you know what? It really did. It all works out in the end. And I certainly wouldn't be here if I hadn't done that. And it has led me to so many incredible things. So I hope that anyone listening can know that when you're taking that courageous step, it doesn't always feel courageous at the time, but follow what makes you feel alive, and that is going to yield results.
Oh, absolutely. One of my mentors always says that if it doesn't feel equal parts terrifying and exciting, then you're not moving in the right direction. And I have had those moments so many times, but I think I want to go back for just a second too and really honor you for honoring yourself.
Oh.
So often we get these nudges and we start thinking, "Oh, what if?" But then it becomes the fear. It becomes, who am I to do that? Who am I to step out? And like you said, either your husband's reluctance or like for me, my parents' reluctance of like, whoa, you went to school for this. What are you doing?
Hmm.
And so often we follow other people's external validation before we can really kind of sit back and go, wait a second, but I don't love this. And
Right.
you don't have to be in a place that's sucking your soul to also feel that way. I don't love this.
Yeah.
And that's great.
That's a really good point. And for your listeners, it's not like I said yes to myself the first time I thought of it, right? It took a lot of back and forth, and it's really never too late.
Yes.
So just feel empowered to, if you feel like you're pleasing other people, which women we often are,
Mhm.
um, know that it's okay. And even if you always have, please, it's okay to break out.
Yeah.
And I didn't love what I was doing, but it's not like I was in this horrible situation, right?
Right.
So it made it even more difficult to leave
Right.
because I was in this fine setup that I didn't love. So for anyone out there who's facing that, like, it's okay to take the leap. It's okay.
And it's okay for it to not be good enough,
Yeah.
even if it's fine. Like you said, so many of us settle for so long because, well, it's fine, it's comfortable, it's great
Mhm.
money. No,
Right.
but if it's not lighting your soul on fire, you only have this one life.
Yeah.
So you talk a lot about in your work how your home like directly impacts how we feel about yourselves. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's funny because to me, this is a huge piece of how I feel every day. And I know a lot of people are affected by the way their surroundings feel. We're not always aware of it. We, but it does matter.
Mhm.
Um, Growing up, I always wanted to do something really important. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to feel like I was changing the world. And I actually took an aptitude test in college or in high school that said I should be an interior designer. And I laughed. I was like, that is so dumb. I want to do something that matters. And
Oh,
now,
this so matters.
right now, my joke is this really does matter. So anyone can think about the way they feel when they go to a really nice hotel, right? When you get that really nice hotel and you look around, you're like, wow, oh my gosh, there's a comfort, there's a relaxation that happens. And there's no reason why everyone can't feel better in their homes. We might not all be living in the most fabulous place that we imagine in our dreams, and hopefully we all can have that someday. But wherever you're living, you can do something to make yourself feel really good. And that's one of my aims of my work overall, and definitely of the book, The Living Room Design Formula.
I love that so much. And it's so funny how you talk about that. I have a 10-year-old, and there is a huge energy shift when I come down and the playroom looks like Legoland exploded in it versus, oh, wow, there's a floor.
Yes, imagine. I have a 10-year-old too, so I can relate to making things pretty and then having other people make them not pretty.
Oh
But
yeah. It's like, seconds later. You're like, "What? Hold on. How did this happen?" We wouldn't trade them for the world though, that's for sure.
of course.
So I'm sure you talk a lot about this in your book too, but if you could give us a little bit of sneak peek as far as obviously tackling a huge, like all of your house project all at one time could be incredibly overwhelming. So what do you recommend we start with?
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up because in my goal is to help people feel the way I feel when a room feels really good. I
Mhm.
get this buzz, I get this feeling, it feels so good, and I want to give that to people. And that's why I wrote the book. But when I started working with publishers, I knew I wanted to focus on one room at a time.
Mhm.
And a lot of publishers I spoke to wanted me to tackle the whole house. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so overwhelming for me. And I do this as a profession. I do this all day, every day.
Uh-huh.
So I can't imagine being a homeowner who would like some design help and having a book about the whole house. Where would you even start? So
Hmm.
my whole goal is to start small and to expand from there. So I started with the living room. This particular book is called The Living Room Design Formula, and the plan is for it to be a series. But I chose the living room because, well, we all have them, and because it is you'll get the most impact.
Hmm.
A kitchen has a huge impact, but it's huge expense. Your bedroom is great, but you only see it at certain times. Your living room is such a good way to change the way your entire house feels. Or if it's an apartment, it's where you're spending all your time. So
Right.
that's why I like to start with the living room. And then the next layer of your question, I think, is okay, then how do we start?
Hmm.
Right? Like if we've identified one room, and by the way, I started with the living room. The book addresses some key points that apply to all rooms.
Hmm.
Um, so you can start wherever you want to start at home. But the next place that we start is by asking ourselves some questions. So, unlike probably most people's instinct is to go search for some furniture online or go to a store, we're taking a step back and we're really going to take inventory of the space. We're going to figure out what do we do in this room and what do
Hmm.
we want to do in the room?
Right.
And then we're going to project the goal from there.
Hmm.
So that's how we're going to get started is picking one room, focusing on one room at a time so you can get that confidence and get that bang for your buck, and then think about how you use the space.
Hmm. When I think about that, so often our living room is really the space that we spend all of our time. I mean, it's in I mean, we have an open concept kind of a house. And my husband and I were just saying the other day, like, we really need to think about more comfortable furniture because we are here all the time and I don't want to sit on this furniture all
Oh my
the
gosh.
time.
Yes, that is so important that you may not realize if you just get started, right?
Hmm.
I always say doing design is like if someone said to you, okay, let me go back. People think because they have a home or a living room, an apartment, that they know how to put furniture together.
Hmm.
Because shouldn't they? They just should.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. Like if someone asked you to build a deck, you would know like, okay, a deck has wood and I need like posts and all these things, but you wouldn't just go do it. You would start with a plan. So it's the same thing for your living room. You want to identify things just like what you said. Like this is a room that I want to be comfortable in. This is a room that it's really important. We have kids, we want to all be able to have a movie night and we want everyone to be comfortable. That needs to be your number one priority. Maybe you also want to host a holiday and that room needs to serve as a double from if you have open concept, your dining room, you need to be able to expand another table and move things around. We want to take that into
Hmm.
factor two. So this is the time to do it, not after we buy the furniture.
Right.
Let's do
Well,
it now.
and I'm so glad that you made that point because my husband and I almost made that mistake, error, whatever,
Yeah.
by buying new furniture before we lived in the space for a bit. And now we're like, I'm so glad we didn't because it wouldn't have fit. Our living room space is different. So arguably our couch currently doesn't fit, but at least it wasn't something that we bought that was new.
So many people call me after they've bought the sofa, right? Like
Oh
so
yeah.
many people, they're like, so I bought this sofa and I love the way it looks, but it just doesn't feel right in here.
Hmm.
So it's really important that we choose furniture for that exact space.
Oh
When
yeah.
we move, which we don't move a lot, but we've moved a handful of times, I get new furniture because I'm choosing that sofa for the exact layout of that
Right.
room. Like it
Right.
doesn't always translate. In fact, it usually doesn't.
Oh
So
yeah.
good
Oh
for you for taking a step back and then thinking about what you need, but then taking that next step of doing the real measurements.
yeah. Hmm. And
So,
that's my thing because I have to see something in a space. Even putting cardboard boxes on the ground, like we did way back, and measuring things
yes.
out, like I had to see, okay, this size of furniture does not fit. So we
Yes.
can't do this again.
Yeah. Well, but I'm so glad that you did that. Most people don't even get that far, and I don't blame them
Right.
because you kind of look at it, you're like, well, this is a normal size sofa. This is a normal
Uh-huh.
size. Like, I totally get it. If you didn't do it as your job, it would be really easy. But it's important to take those measurements. And I do have a section in the book, I think it's chapter 3, mapping your space. So it
Hmm.
walks you through all of the steps you take to really draw your space from an aerial view. And you'll be amazed. A, it's easier than it seems. I think it's a little intimidating. It's not as challenging as it seems. And B, you'll be amazed at what insights you get when you do this.
Hmm.
So I also offer, so the living room design formula, I have a website, lrdesignformula.com. And once people buy the book, they can go on there and download a PDF that has a mapping guide so they can actually print out graph paper and it has to
Nice.
scale sofa and sectional and side tables and all that things that you can cut out and move
Hmm.
around. So this is a great tool for anyone who wants to see how their space feels
Hmm.
before you spend thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, so important. So I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk a little bit about momming and wifing during this change and how you managed it all. I think, you spoke earlier to the fear of stepping out and doing something different. And I think so many of us also have that fear of, well, but this is stable for my family. And we so outwardly put everyone else first that we forget what is important to us, or maybe we don't even know. So how did you manage that piece of it?
I think it's important to remember that no one's really managing it well. I think we need really because it's so we're so likely to look at maybe someone listening to this podcast is even looking at me and they're like, "Oh, well, she's got it all together and she has a business and she wrote a book." Like I want everyone to know that it's not like this is just effortless in life and I had to claw my way there and there were many times where I felt the guilt about, not spending enough time with my kids or not enough time on the business. So we're all kind of in the same struggle. So I think giving yourself grace is so important. And I tried to do that. It's hard.
Uh-huh.
I tried to do that as I built my business. And the other thing that I remind myself of as a parent is everything with children so seasonal. Like when they're little, it feels like it's always going to be this way and they're always going to need you and they're never going to leave you alone. Well, I've just entered this stage where my youngest is 10, my oldest is 13, and like they don't want me around as much. And it's a little bit sad, but also it's
Hmm.
really freeing because for so many years I felt like, oh, I can never get it all done. And
Uh-huh.
now I'm kind of like getting a little more time. So everything's so seasonal. So just give yourself grace. That would be my message to my younger self. Give
Hmm.
yourself grace and know that like it's all just a balance and we're all going through it. And that's kind of the journey and the joy of all
Hmm.
of it.
Well, and I think the other point to be made here too is you're a mom of kiddos who have watched you chase your dreams. And that opens the world to what's possible to them for, if they want to pivot in life, if they want to see, I don't know how you grew up. And I love my parents. They provided for me and they stayed in the same jobs for 35 years.
Yeah.
Same building, same commute every day. And I do think that they loved their jobs to a point, and I also wonder if they had taken more chances or if they had tried to pivot or if they had followed the little nudges, where would they be? What would they be doing now? And
Absolutely.
it gives my daughter at least the courage to go, huh, that didn't work out so great. Let me try
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah. Yes, we can only hope that they'll see that. And I do think there's something generational about that. That you and I, our generation, or I'm probably a little older than you, but the being courageous enough to switch up is maybe something that didn't feel accessible for
Right.
people who are above us. And I hope that the next generation does feel accessible by us modeling that. So, and I think it's important also for kids to see parents who are involved in something, even if you're a mom that stays at home, having your thing, having your hobby or your group of friends or volunteering or something, whatever it is, I think that they really learn from that. So, yes, we can only hope that
Yes.
this is all rubbing off.
Well, and you talked about not being fulfilled anymore with pharmaceutical sales. And I think that takes a toll on our families too. They feel when we're having a rough day or when we're really struggling with something. And then that compounds year after year versus, you know, mom may be down today because this project she was working on didn't work out, and that's life. Those are
Right.
problem solving lessons, and but she's really excited about what she's doing. And I think that in the end is the most important part.
Absolutely. You're so right. There is a toll. There's a toll on all the relationships when you're not satisfied.
Yeah. What, if you could tell your younger self or your younger audience members, maybe who are listening, something that you've learned now that maybe would have helped you pivot faster, what do you think that would be?
Let's see. Well, something I look back and I think I wish I had done it faster. I wish I had taken more security that it would work out. I think there were a lot of times that I was worried about money.
Hmm.
And not just in the actual pivot, but then after starting the business, there were a lot of things I would try to DIY.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of benefit to that for the things that you will use. So I gained a lot of skills by DIYing things. But
Hmm.
I look back, I'm like, I wish I had brought maybe other people or other tools in earlier
Hmm.
and not worried quite so much about the bottom line of the money because I think it would have ultimately helped me expand and grow faster and make money faster.
Right. And I
So
think we as moms
taking the leap.
oftentimes feel like we have to do it all.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and what would people think if we couldn't do it all?
Right. Well, and there is this kind of persona of like the mom who's like the career woman and the mom and all these things. And it's just not really realistic. So, but I tried to do that and I was very tired. I was really tired for a long time. So I wish I had slept more and paid and
Yes.
paid more people or, companies to farm out some of the work that I struggled with.
Well, and I think to your point too, work that you struggled with, or maybe work that just didn't bring you joy.
Yes.
The more things that we can get off our plates and normalize delegating, again, love my parents dearly. And I watched my mom literally do it all. And I remember when my daughter was young, feeling like such a failure because I didn't feel like I could do it all. And it was like, well, my mom did. What's wrong with me? And then
Yeah.
this light bulb kind of went off like, you don't need to do it all. And then
Mm-mm.
it was just this permission to say, okay, what can I delegate? And we both, I'm sure, hear all of our audience when they're thinking, I don't have the finances to delegate everything in my life that I don't want to do.
Right.
And there's something, there it may be something really small. Even for this
Mhm.
podcast, I delegate to one company that puts it all out, and it's
Oh,
not at all expensive. Um, but it's just
so
little
valuable.
things. There's always something that you can get off your plate.
I totally agree. And this is not design related, not necessarily what I would ascribe to when it comes to designing a room. But when I was going through the struggle of young kids, building the business, all that, I remember being frustrated and talking to someone, another mom who was a little bit older, and she goes, look, it costs nothing to lower your expectations, which felt horrible in the moment. But there is something to be said for lowering your expectations of yourself. Does
Uh-huh.
the laundry need to be done at a certain time? Does it need to be folded in a certain way? You know, are there things that, and I'm not advocating for letting things go because that doesn't feel good either, but
Uh-huh.
I am advocating for being realistic about things. You don't have to bake the cupcakes from scratch.
Mhm.
If it's bringing you down, then no one's benefiting from it.
Right,
Right?
right.
So I guess choose if there a spot where you can lower your standards and it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah. And from what I hear from that too is, you know, I think so many of us in this entrepreneurial world could relate to perfectionism at some point in our lives, whether we're still struggling with it or did in the past. And being able
Never goes away.
to let go of some of that control. I mean, I have a Great Pyrenees mix at my house. I could vacuum every day of my life and still have dog hair, and I've
Yeah.
just had to embrace it.
Yeah, you're like, this
We're
is
gonna get white furniture. It's just
right. Exactly. That is such a good example of where you can just let go and be like, this is what it is. And that's okay. That's welcome to my house. No outfit is complete without dog hair.
yeah. If
It
you
just
love
is.
me, you love my dog. My house is not
Yeah.
dirty, but I can't promise that there's not dog hair.
Yeah.
I just
And so be it. And that's okay.
when you start working with clients, or even when you were thinking about this book, what was kind of the feeling you wanted to help people with? You know, whether it's calm, whether it's overwhelm, peaceful
Mhm.
space, what is kind of the mindset goal you go in to each project with?
Well, I always say in the beginning of the videos I make and when I'm talking with clients, good design is all about you.
Mhm.
It's not just me as a designer giving a prescription of you should choose X sofa and Y, blah, blah, blah. Good design is really about focusing on you and focusing on what you want in order to get the outcome you want. Because I could design your space 100 different ways and you probably would like them all. You'd probably think they're all beautiful. But which one would you really want to come down the stairs and
Uh-huh.
make coffee and look at? Right.
Yes, I
So
love that.
that was all my focus. And that's why when I wrote the book, The Living Room Design Formula, a little plug there on Amazon.
I love it. We're
Um,
going to put it in the show notes. We'll make sure it's in the show notes.
Thank you. When I wrote it, I wanted to walk through step by step in a way that was like, if you follow this guideline step by step with your own feelings about this, you will come up with a beautiful space that's cohesive.
Mhm.
And it will be different than anyone else's space, but that is the beauty of it.
Right.
The big thing is about everything being cohesive. And
Mhm.
that is what people come to me all the time and they say, I know what I like, but I don't know how to put it together. It's the most common thing I hear. And we talked about that mapping your space section. The very next section is about creating a mood board. So a
Mhm.
mood board is when we actually take the things we like and we put them all together.
Mhm.
And that gives you the ability to see that symphony of it all
Mhm.
and make sure it's all going to work. So the goal is about you, making it yours. And by using these steps and formulas in the book, you'll be able to come up with something that is definitely going to work together, definitely going to fit your space, definitely going to be beautiful, but it's going to be you.
Mhm. And
That's
I think any of us probably could have either worked with an interior designer before or looked at things and really come out with that's pretty, but it's not me. And
mhm.
that I so love that that's your focus because there are incredibly talented interior designers out there who don't listen well.
Yeah.
And if I think what I'm hearing from you too is that that is so incredibly important to you as somebody who provides service to someone else. So knowing
Absolutely.
that somebody's going to work with you and they're going to come out with something that aligns with their life and aligns with their family and aligns with what they see as beautiful is so powerful.
It's really important. I've known people who have used designers and to great expense, and they do like what they end up with. It's beautiful, but if it doesn't function for them and if it's not the thing that they're excited about, then it's really not of as much value. And
Yes.
the interesting thing is the person who's best at designing your space is actually you because you know what you like the best. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to write the book. So many people were coming to me asking for my help, and I wasn't able to field them all. And I
Mhm.
thought, there's a big gap. There are a lot of people out there who want the look of a professionally designed room. They want to be able to look at something and have it be finished and polished and beautiful, but they don't necessarily want to bring in a designer to
Mm-hmm.
do it all.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the goal, is to give a book, to give this guide that you would be able to use the knowledge you already have
Mm-hmm.
about what you like, but in the same way that professionals do, so that you too can get that finished, polished look.
I love that. Well, I want to make sure that people know where to find your book, know how to connect with you. So tell us all the things. How can we connect with you?
Yeah. Well, so I am on social media a lot, posting both about the book, which is available on Amazon. That's, I'll just say the name again, The Living Room Design Formula, by me, Amy Barrickman. That is on Amazon. And I post on social media a lot. On YouTube, I post long form videos that really dive into different topics.
Mm-hmm.
And my handle there is at Barrickman Design. My last name, I should have married someone's last name Ford, but you love who you love. His
You do love who you love. I love that.
love who you love. So my handle is Barrickman, Barrickman. That's Barrickman Design. And please look me up on YouTube, TikTok, all the social media, and then go to lrdesignformula.com. That's lrdesignformula.com. That has a link to the book, and that's also where you can download that PDF after you buy the book to get the measurement guide.
Very awesome. Was there anything else that you want to make sure you kind of leave the audience with? Any last little tidbits of advice?
Actually, yes. I put together something for people, for podcast listeners. It is a gallery wall guide. So if you're maybe not ready to take on a full room, but you have one lonely wall, the gallery wall is a great way to create an installation. It doesn't have to be super expensive, and it makes a huge impact in the way your room or home feels.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a step-by-step guide. If you go to gallerywalltips.com, you can download the free PDF instantly.
Oh, fun.
Gallerywalltips.com. It's for all those podcast listeners out there. And it has step-by-step instructions, where to hang, how far apart to hang. It even has a frame recommendation, pictures, the guidelines for pictures you might want to include. So it really gives you what you need to create a really cool installation in your home pretty easily.
I love that. We moved in November and I can still
All
look around
right.
and there's a lot of walls that
We
are
all have it.
very lonely.
We all have the big lonely wall, especially in newer homes. It's so common, and this is a home run. Every time I've done it, the client loves it. It always works, and it looks so good. And it's a great way to have pictures of either your family or things you love or places you love. It's a great way to remember them, but still have it look artistic and professional.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I love what you're doing. Thank you for providing positive entertainment for us in this world.
You're so welcome. As we close out today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Your next level is already within you. If you're feeling that pull for more clarity, more alignment, and more courage to step fully into who you're meant to be, this is your invitation to take the next step. Whether you're an entrepreneur ready to scale or a woman standing at the edge of something bigger, the path forward starts with trusting your desires, owning your worth, and leading with your inner knowing. This is exactly what I offer. Private VIP coaching, and where I guide women inside the 10K Club and 50K Club through consulting with She Sells and Superhuman Selling to help you gain clarity, step into aligned action, and build a life and business that reflects your highest vision. If you're ready to explore what's next, let's have a conversation. Book a free call now at www.corywinn.com/free call. I can't wait to connect with you. Talk soon.